welcome to our Xbox E3 reaction podcast. I'm Logan. Hot takes and pancakes. I'm Logan. To my left is Jason, who's very hungry all of a sudden.
Sounds delicious.
And Caleb just
I'm
loves
so
pancakes.
full. I can't even think about pancakes.
I know, man. Wings. I can't even. I don't want to plug the place. Maybe we need to get sponsored. Fine. We're going to get sponsored by this bar that we get food from.
This bar in LA where we're at.
That's right. This bar in LA where our press passes have gotten us into E3 and we have found this tiny little bed to sit on. Let's get right into it. The big news is it's not the Xbox Scorpio anymore. It is the Xbox One X.
One X. X is X.
Not
X.
S.
Not
Sex.
S, but X.
Xbox
Not
One.
sex.
Xbox One sex.
Some of those games looks like sex.
That's for sure.
Looks pretty good.
So we actually enjoyed watching that in 4K. Stream we watched on Mixer. Worked okay for up until like an hour and 20 minutes. We had a couple hitches.
Where it needed to work, it worked.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so we had a couple of hitches, but otherwise that service worked pretty well, considering 4K streaming is not exactly a wide thing these days, so that was kind of nice to see. But I guess the One X, I think just the first thing to get out of the way it is the size. That thing was tiny, and for them to put all of that into there was impressive. I still never did find a disc slot, but obviously it's got a Blu-ray drive, so it has to have a disc slot.
I think there was that thick dark area to the left.
Yeah, it was like
it seemed like it was under that lip because there's like a thicker section and then like a lip and then a smaller base, right?
Yeah, it's just I wonder how.
So it looks like a tiny shoebox and then a big shoebox on top.
Yeah,
of it.
it's because the S is the same way.
It seemed like the drive is where the top of the shoebox, like almost under it. It seemed like, but that was my speculation.
That's the only thing I thought too. And I guess the next big thing was the price, $499. So you're looking at $100 premium compared to a PlayStation Pro, because Pro is $400. I guess the upgrades you get is a 4K Blu-ray drive.
Yeah.
And everything would be pretty much in 4K, where the PlayStation Pro is more of an upscaler to 4K.
Right.
So a lot more stuff is available in 4K on the X, which is weird to say. I guess we'll just call it the X. Is that?
Yeah, sure.
Is this a term now? It's not Scorpio now.
The One X. The internet will come up with. There's probably already something out there like Xbone.
Right.
Yeah. Xbone X.
Xbone X.
Xbone the Bonex. Bonex? No.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm
probably
just
the
gonna call it
X. I bet the X is what.
Yeah,
that's probably what they're shooting for. That's probably we're just gonna call it because everybody just refers to it as the S on things like the Pro, so it's just gonna be the X. So November 7th is our drop date for that. So just a hair before holiday season. There, well, right in the middle of holiday season in all reality. So the first week in November is usually the big week for everything.
So I bet there'll be an initial shipment. And then a Black Friday shipment, do you think?
Probably.
For retail.
Yeah. Let's just now that we're talking about the system itself, I'll be pre-ordering it. Let's go around the room. Jason.
Yeah, I'll probably pre-order it.
I don't think I am.
Caleb, no?
No, $500 is too much.
Okay.
It is a lot. Mm-hmm. And that's what the original
Xbox One with the Kinect was $500, yes.
Oh yeah, no Kinect today. What a shock. It's a shame.
And oddly no VR. That was kind of the talk last year of like we're gonna have this machine and it's gonna be powerful enough to handle VR on its own, and then nothing on VR today.
That's almost another discussion. VR,
it is
because what's happening.
I was just about to say something and I was like, no, that's gonna take way too long to talk about.
And I'm fine.
But
with
it wasn't there. Is the point? Right?
I'm fine with them not talking VR with it either. That's fine. So I think anything else you guys got on the system itself? They've been talking about the specs forever.
The one thing that I thought was really cool was what they call it, super sampling. Is that what they called it?
Yeah.
Where it takes if you don't have a 4K TV, it will super sample so that the game will look better on your 1080p TV.
Yeah.
which I don't think the Pro does anything like.
I don't know if it does either. I think they said there's some help with things, but it's up to the developer, and there's certain games that, like, I think they call it like boost mode or
Right.
something on the Pro that they do, but I'm not sure how
I
much
think
of
those
that.
are mostly like load times and stuff like that.
It's not
though,
resolution
but I don't
and-
think so, but I could be wrong.
And I guess one other thing they did mention was that there were a good amount of old games that are going to come with a 4K upgrade. So they said, like, the first party titles, Gears 4, Forza Horizon 3 were the couple of the ones like first party,
Yeah.
and then they had a whole list of just a scrolling thing of third party games that were going to get a 4K boost. Doom, Final Fantasy, what else did I see? Fallout. So just a bunch of random other third party titles I think Ghost Recon was on that list too. So just some older games that'll get that 4K boost as well. So it was a good thing to see some third party people say, yep, we're going to go ahead and figure out how to upscale this and get it out there too. We just go straight through the list of games.
Oh man, it's gonna take a while.
Okay, let's just we'll
Lightning
start.
round,
Yeah, Forza 7 looks great. Not really a Forza.
dude. The weather and the lighting, especially during the weather changes, looks awesome.
Forza's always looked great. It's just, for me, it's too much tuning, too much other stuff. I just want to
Yeah.
go out and race.
I mean, I said this before in our first podcast, but for me to be into a racing game, there has to be at least some semblance of a story or progression. Even Horizon works for me, where you're upgrading your festivals and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I'm a
In
Horizon
the
guy, too.
motorsport games, it's just
Forza Horizon.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, not Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah, Horizon Forza Dawn.
But in the motorsport games, it's basically just race,
Mm-hmm.
and that gets really boring to me really fast. So
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be playing that game, but man, does it look amazing.
I won't play it either, but it looks really nice.
Next one down, Metro Exodus was exclusive. Oddly enough, is Metro always been exclusive to Xbox
I think
and
it's
PC?
been Xbox and PC. I don't. Maybe they eventually did come to PS4.
I feel like, is it Redux?
I think
and
they did. I
Last-
think Redux actually did.
Is that Last Light and 2030 or what?
Yeah,
Is it
2033.
Yeah, I think Redux came to PS4.
Okay, I think you're right.
I'm pretty sure.
I think initially they only came to because they were 360.
Mm-hmm.
So I think initially they were 360 and PC
It
only.
looks really nice on somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked really nice on 360.
Yeah, so those games have always looked really nice, and the little preview they had looked pretty nice. They
Yeah.
had some underground environments, the foliage in that game. I just remember the foliage looked real nice.
Yeah.
So
The thing that struck me was enemies were going down really easily. That could have just been for the demo, obviously, but
Probably.
in the other games, that's not the way it played. So unless they've changed the game drastically,
that one
I'll be
enemy,
curious to see.
the one enemy that you shot and it started falling off the edge of the cliff. That was actually
That was
pretty cool.
really cool.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like you could use your environments to take down those enemies. That was pretty cool.
It's hard to know how much of that was scripted and how much of that was gameplay, but we'll see.
Yeah, you never know. Assassin's Creed Origins made its debut on the Xbox stage. You'll probably get a huge thing of that at Ubi tomorrow, but that looked all right. It looked like an Assassin's Creed game. Eagle Vision was an actual eagle this time.
I thought that was cool.
I think that was a thing in one of the DLCs. The
Tyranny of King Washington.
The Tyranny of King Washington. I think that was an ability in one of those.
I think that's cool. The way that it's like a drone tagging Watch Dogs-esque solution to survey the area, your guards, your target, and all that stuff.
The areas looked bigger than a typical Assassin's Creed game, so that
Yeah.
would make more sense to have that type of drone tagging system.
That was definitely gameplay for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Which was nice because we know like it's approaching the end of its development cycle and should ship on time. It looks done,
There was
and
a
they've
little-
worked on it for 2 years, right?
yeah. They took last year off. There was a little note in the bottom corner that said Alpha Gameplay. I
Yeah.
remember a little watermark that said that. So
Yeah.
because there was a little hitching still in there, which you could tell.
May
But-
ultimately ship with it.
You
That's
never
going to be
know.
the unfortunate thing that happens is that we may have these new workhorse systems, and then some games will come out and they still will have performance
Yeah.
problems. It's going to be like, ah!
It'll be interesting though if we start to see games with performance problems on like like a standard Xbox One or standard PS4, and then they run smooth on the other ones, and that could be an interesting
And we'll
problem.
find that out when I have my regular and you guys have your upgraded ones.
And I should be in the middle because I don't know. Unless I get a killer deal on a 4K TV, I'm really waiting for that market to settle down.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
it's a lot of it is OLED for me. I'm just not. That's what I want, but the price is really steep. And so I'm trying to wait for that to calm down. I know I could get a 4K TV reasonably, but I'm looking at a 4K OLED. And so I'm waiting, and I may not be ready. So Caleb may have everything traditionally, and I may have the newer system, but on a 1080p TV, and then you'll have everything. And then that way we'll be able to kind of benchmark
Be
everything.
our own digital foundry.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why
sure.
not? Yeah.
We'll start pulling out frame rate machines. No.
Oh, God.
I have one note written down about Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
And it says Assassin's Creed has hippos, followed by 2 exclamation points and 2 question marks.
That's true. There was a hippo.
Followed by an alligator, right?
Yes. Also followed by an
alligators
alligator.
have been in before.
Oh, really?
In
Rogue, right?
Was it in Rogue? In the
That was Mafia 3,
Liberation.
Caleb. You're
No,
confusing
Liberation
it.
had
Did it?
sure.
Really?
Liberation did.
Was Liberation...
That was the PSP one that later got released on console.
Did it get released?
Yep.
On console? Okay.
360.
Yeah, they started releasing some of those portable games as arcade or indie title type things on Xbox and PlayStation. So,
Okay.
let's see what's the next game down here. Oh, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds becomes a console exclusive.
You, sir, called it.
I take a taco on that one. Yes.
It's in one of the podcasts on the YouTube channel. It's official. Logan got it right.
I went bold predictions on some of those things, and that one I got right. So, yeah, I'm surprised, but not. I just kind of took a shot in the dark. I was like, they might pay up for that exclusivity.
And it's a timed exclusive.
Yes. Yeah.
Time exclusive. It just said late 2017.
Yeah.
So there's no official date yet, but it looked like the version that they showed looked like a much higher res version than what's been out on PC, which is still in early access. So
I'm really excited about that because of controller support. Yeah. And I would assume that it will be, 2 separate server spaces. PC will, because you don't want to have
they don't want to mix those
two things mixing. But for me, I've never been comfortable enough on a mouse and keyboard to make that work. So I'm really excited for it to come to a controller, because controller support isn't there for PC right now, right? I'm pretty sure. Or it's missing an important button.
Yeah,
or
there's
something
like one thing you can't do on it. So you have to have a keyboard next to you. I don't remember.
So it's a weird setup.
Yeah.
So now it'll be made for a controller, which is nice.
Yeah. Now we get into what I would call a couple games that I'm not really too interested in. There was one called Deep Rock Galactic.
Oh, no.
Was that a top-down shooter type thing, or what was that?
I didn't write down anything about it.
Was that the 4-player co-op thing?
I think it was.
With maybe the dwarves at the end of the tag?
Oh, yeah. It was, something with dwarves. Yeah. Nothing too interesting. Next one's, I guess I shouldn't say a couple games I wasn't interested in, because I guess State of Decay 2 was the next one they showed.
Yeah, I'll probably play that.
It looked all right. I'll give it a whirl. Nothing too exciting to say about that. The next one, this one was another one of those, I guess, esports games, the Darwin Project. This was one where they had the shoutcaster up there yelling about all the different stuff, which I guess that's what a shoutcaster does, but just doesn't look, that's not my style of game.
Nope.
Not into that type of thing. It looked like they tried to throw some weird, blend League of Legends and Overwatch together into a third person game, and
reminded me of what's the poor game, the game that came out right beside Overwatch,
Battleborn.
And it kind of reminded me of that. I don't know whether it was the way that the things were positioned on the screen and maybe the color scheme, but that's what it reminded me of, was Battleborn, which I think was better than people. I liked that game. Okay.
I actually never played it. I know you guys did, but I never checked that one out. I pretty much just went straight to Overwatch and never looked back. Yeah. Next one, Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Looks really pretty.
It looked real cool.
It looks like it could be some dumb fun. I hope there's a good story mode with that.
It looked cool.
Yeah, it looked cool. It looked like the show, and I guess that's the question: is that really what it looks like? Because we never saw health bars and all that stuff.
I don't know what was so striking about it, and maybe somebody else could break down that trailer.
There's a lot of colors,
but it just looked. It looked like the next step in that style of game. That hand-drawn style, whether or
Yeah.
not they're polygonal. I think they are polygonal, but the Guilty Gears of the world
Right.
and the King of Fighters of the world, like, that is a step up for that. And I don't know what it is, but it pops, for lack of a better description.
Mhm.
Like, we all looked at it and we were like,
Whoa,
whoa, for whatever reason. And I can't quite put my finger on why it looks so great, but it looks great. Capital G, great.
Next one down, Black Desert. I don't even remember what that was.
That one looked really cool, but it's an MMORPG. So
It's what I
Oh.
thought was maybe Fable, jokingly.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and it was all of a sudden it was like, oh, this dude's got like 2 battle axes and he's wailing them both at the same time.
Then there was some spell casting and some rolling
Yeah.
and some. Yeah, I mean,
we'll see. We'll
Just-
see if that
no,
shakes
it's not
out
our-
too.
I don't
Spell
think
game.
I would do an MMO. So,
No, probably not either. The next one, The Last Night.
oh,
Jason was drooling on the screen.
dude, I think that aesthetic is killer, and I'm cyberpunk guy in this group,
Right.
so I understand.
I
That's my
I thought that looked really cool though
weakness. The way they transitioned that trailer from like a 3D environment
Yeah.
into a pixel art game, and then the soundtrack was just
Mhm.
and the neon colors, and he's shooting a little handgun that's got neon lights coming out of it. I'm really
too.
excited
It has
by
a
that.
lot of style.
Yeah,
Yeah, stylish game for sure. So
I hope that it has a really like compelling story that accompanies that style
Right.
and kind of gives you a world that you can sink into.
I'm also curious what the actual gameplay will be like what style of game.
It kind of looked like it.
Because
I don't want to compare it to stuff because we
Yeah.
didn't really see a lot of gameplay.
Sometimes when there's been games that try to like shoehorn shooting into a 2D game like that, it's been really awkward. So I'm hoping they get a control scheme that works.
Forgive me for doing this on the microphone, but what is that game where you puzzle solve and you can rewind time and you're like little ninjas? It's a 2D game.
You're like
Oh,
little
ninjas.
ninjas.
Yeah, and you shoot guns and you get like a set of moves, and every time you advance, your enemy reacts. Like, so you move forward, the enemy moves forward, but it's still until you move. So the environment is frozen into Gunpoint.
Oh, Gunpoint.
I'm thinking of Gunpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Maybe it kind of looked like it could be something like that, but maybe not.
We'll see. Yeah.
But Gunpoint is what I'm thinking.
okay. The next game was actually another very stylish game. The Artful Escape was the guitar solo.
That was weird. That was
Platformer?
real weird.
Looked inspired.
Yes.
Not weird, inspired.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna solve problems by thrashing on a guitar, and it's gonna make things pop out of the environment and go crazy, and
Sure.
I'm excited for it.
I think that could be interesting.
Excited to see it, I should say.
Yeah.
I may not play it, but it was something kind of fresh,
I'll see what people start to say about it as it comes out. And
silly, good fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Next one, Code Vein.
That looked awful to me.
All I saw, this was when I ran upstairs to get something to eat, and I saw some guy that looked like Dante, and I was like, what happened
It looked
with that?
real bad.
You were the only one that saw that, I think, because
Yeah.
I was upstairs too. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Caleb
All right.
says skip it.
Yeah. Next one, Sea of Thieves. We got a nice long look at Sea of Thieves.
We might need to all buy Sea of Thieves and play it and capture it at some
I
point.
would have fun
That
with
might
that.
be fun.
That actually, it looks like fun. I don't know how much I would actually play of it. I think the thing that was the most disappointing for me was it's not 2017, it's 2018.
Yeah.
And I really thought that was going to be a fall lineup game this year, and it's not.
This is wait, is this 3 threes for E3 or
Maybe.
for Sea of Thieves?
Is it the third? Yeah, I
I
think
feel like
I
it
think it
is.
is.
it might have been. Yeah.
So, come on.
Yeah.
And
Come on.
the funny thing is, the narrator, even joked that, hey, we haven't even finished the bottom of this pirate ship
Yeah.
yet. Like, we could go down here farther, but we haven't finished developing it. I was like, what?
Yeah, at some point it has to come out, and I hope it's as fun as it looks.
Yeah.
At the same time, even too, I wish that like the narrator was in the game.
Right.
Like, as you're going
Yeah.
along with stuff, like that narrator actually did a lot for me for that game. So that's why I wonder if I don't have that narrator, is it going to be really that interesting or not? I don't know. It just seems like it might get repetitive and old of just here, go to this island, find this treasure, get back to the boat, fight this boat that's trying to catch you and then just do it all over again.
Maybe he is in the game.
That I'd be interested in. Anyway. Next one was kind of shocking, I thought, was Lucky's Tale. Super Lucky's Tale, sorry. As we started watching that, for some odd reason, I thought it was Bubsy to start off with. And Jason was like, "Is that Tails?" And
I saw the ears.
So Jason said, "Is that Tails?" I said, "Is that Conker?" And you said, "No, that's Bubsy." And all three of us
were completely wrong.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Lucky's Tale. I feel like that maybe is a project that was on its way, and let's just not get too derailed.
Right.
They have it. They showed it. It's coming out.
I'll probably play that.
It was.
Oh, really?
I played it in VR and I thought it was completely fine and charming.
Okay.
Like, sure, why not? Maybe it's something to play with the kids. Cuphead. Finally, we have a date, September 29th for Cuphead, and it still looks great. That trailer was really well done. That has that art style to it that I think is just beyond amazing. That 1930s cartoon.
Yep.
So we'll see what it ultimately ends up being. Because this was, the 4th E3 for Cuphead?
Something like that.
Man.
I didn't notice until today that it's co-op.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We
at last year's PAX, we played a little bit of it.
You did?
It was a lot of fun.
Was it awesome?
Yeah, it was kind of weird because there was no actual, like... They replaced something else with Cuphead just for, like, one day. And we saw it there, so we walked up and there was only a couple people in line. But there was no actual, like, line for it, so it was just a bunch of people, like, milling behind you. And there was no attendant or anything. So, like, you could sit there and play it all day if you wanted to, but there's all these people behind you. So we were trying to figure out, like, how long do we play this before we leave? Because we just wanted to keep playing and trying different bosses and stuff, but there was a huge group of people behind us. So it was a little awkward, but it was a lot of fun.
What do you guys think that'll cost?
20.
What would you pay for it?
40.
30.
Yeah, I would pay. I'm with you. I would probably pay 40.
I would maybe.
If they asked that for it,
I guess depending on how many hours it is. If they say it's only going to be like 4 hours, then no. But if it's over 5 hours, I would go for. I go 40.
I'm high enough on it
Right.
that I would pay probably upwards of 40.
Yeah. Then we had this just massive, like, 30 game, like, 5-second shot of stuff.
ID at Xbox stuff?
Yeah, the ID at Xbox stuff. And there was one thing that we all jumped at, and it was a game called Observer.
Yeah.
And that was like this weird, it just looked like you were walking around an old house that had some really weird shit going on. So that's the only thing I got out of that little montage.
Wasn't there like a body slumped over by a bed?
Yeah. I hopefully will see more of that from some panel or something.
It almost looked like Resident Evil 7-ish.
When does Keeley's coverage start tomorrow?
Yeah.
So they start doing guests and stuff,
Yeah.
and all the other
maybe it'll be part of that.
games, big and small, will roll through there.
And like
right?
Giant Bomb does their nightly show and everything else, which Giant Bomb's nightly show is actually part of E3 proper now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's on the official E3 schedule. I was like, what?
Oh, cool.
I thought that was interesting. So good for them, I guess, for being part of the schedule.
Cool.
Next one, Crackdown 3.
Yep.
So
they showed orbs. I'm in.
There's orbs. It's got the same cell shaded nonsense of blowing shit up. Terry Crews might. I don't know if he's in it.
He may or may not be. We're not sure.
Like, is he like gonna replace the announcer with him? Because like that announcer guy's got a pretty cool voice.
No, you can't do that, can you?
Agent.
Right. Yeah. But November 7th, the same day and date is the X. So
I'm pulling for that game just because I remember what Crackdown 1 was, and I want to somehow capture that lightning in the bottle again. Because
2 was just okay.
Yeah, and that's my fear, is that 3 will just be okay.
This looks like it's more of a throwback to 1. Looks like
I can't in my head now. I can't really separate 1 and 2. I know why 1 was special at the time, but I feel like it was more Crackdown. So I can't. Maybe I'm ready for Crackdown. Maybe there's been a long enough time that like if it wasn't reinventing Crackdown, maybe that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
We'll see how we all feel when we play it. I have guarded optimism
Yeah.
about that game because I'm pulling for it hard, but I also it's probably not the game of the fall for me because I don't want to be disappointed in
Yeah,
it. But I'm
fair.
pulling for it.
That's fair. Ashen was another game. That was the one that looked like Below.
Oh right, yeah. I
Faceless
The faceless
models.
people.
Yeah,
The
that
style
didn't do
looked
much for me.
cool, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like if I think maybe somebody else can play it and tell me about it.
Yeah. Let's wait and
That's
see
fair.
reviews on that one.
Yeah.
All right. Life is Strange Before the Storm.
We're all
Yes.
pretty excited about this.
Yes.
We all kind of jumped at that. Like, wait a minute. Like, we knew that they were going to do another Life is Strange, but didn't know much about it.
So I thought that was Chloe, but
It looks
it
like
was
it's
Chloe before Chloe's downfall. Before
before
her,
she was.
do you think like before her father's death even?
It could be
Because that's where her life
Yeah.
spirals and she has problems with
the
her
stepdad.
the stepdad and
Before Rachel
her
disappeared.
best friend disappeared, and this is way before. Forgive me, who's the protagonist in Life is Strange?
Max.
No, not Sam.
Max.
Max.
Sam and
Max Caulfield.
Sam and
Sam and
Max.
Max.
Yeah, Sam and Max. So before, maybe right after Max moves, maybe is when this picks up
Probably, yeah,
And
because
it's
Max left.
about Chloe
Mhm.
more than it is anything else.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm-
really intrigued.
It's only
I'm
three-
surprised how excited I am.
I
about
was,
it.
yeah, because I was like, wait a minute, these are all the same characters, and but at the same time, like I didn't think I wanted the same characters, and I guess I do.
It's only 3 episodes, so it's kind of like stopgap. Hopefully, they're still working on that other thing.
Yeah,
I was surprised how excited I was when I was like, "Oh shit, it is Chloe."
well, and I think the other
like,
thing. that
why
got
do
us-
I care
Yeah,
so
I know,
much?
right?
Well, and I think the other thing that got us excited was it's August 31st too. It's not like it's
Right.
next year or anything else. Like, wait a minute, I'm going to be able to play this in like 2 months.
It'll be episodic again, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll all be
they
out by
said
the
3 episodes.
3
they
episodes.
said.
Episode 1 available August 31st.
And we're not sure when, but hopefully it's all.
You
this
would
year.
think that they would all be hopefully within.
They did a pretty good job the first game. It was one
Yeah.
a month, pretty much.
God, I'm trying to decide if I'm going to wait, because it's going to drive me nuts if I don't. Because I played them all 5 back to back to back the first time.
And like the teacher, like when you find
Yeah.
out that big reveal, you're like, "Oh God!" Like what the teacher's been up to, and you find the dark room,
Mhm.
and so like where that's gonna happen. So are we trying to prevent that? And
I don't know.
it's really got me curious.
Yep.
Yeah, me too. Because it's just since we know everything about what happens with that,
Right.
Is Rachel the one that has the powers or something that Max had? I don't know. Or do we have any of it?
Who-
Maybe we don't.
I'm in.
Maybe we can't rewind
I'm ready to
things
find
anymore.
out.
I don't know. Next one down, Shadow of War. So I mean,
I guess I'm the only one excited
take
about
it, Caleb.
that, huh?
it looks fine.
Man, I
wasn't.
am ready for that. I am just dying to play that.
I mean, the first game was fine for me. I didn't think it was the Nemesis system was really cool, but other than that, I was just kind of
Which is something we haven't seen as much as I thought we would.
everybody thought the Nemesis system was going to be like every game.
It's going to be
had
in
it.
Assassin's Creed. It's going to be in GTA. It's going to be in the biggest games.
It's going to be in Batman. It's going to be
Batman.
Yeah.
And then no. So they showed that system off right away.
Mhm.
They didn't show you any menus, did they?
It looked like it all happened kind of in game instead of in a menu.
I bet you there's still like a
Right.
map and links and intel.
It just
and-
looks like they took that foundation of the Nemesis system and like turned it up to 10. You know, just like everything now depends on the Nemesis system, which I think could be really cool
Yeah.
if everything works.
I guess what I would say about that is that I'm more excited for other things, and if there's time for it, I'll
Yeah.
try to fit it in. But I'm more excited for other things. Like if it's
That's
that
fair.
versus Assassin's Creed, I miss Assassin's Creed enough that I would
Yep.
choose Assassin's Creed over that. Just
Um,
kind of, I'm trying to think of other big games.
I'm in
But
the same boat. What I might do is I might just go rent it or whatever, play it for a couple of hours, and see what I'm thinking about it.
evaluate it.
Evaluate it and go from there.
Yeah.
See, and the next one's only for me. Ori and the Will of the Wisp. I loved Ori and the Blind Forest. I thought it was one of the best games I've ever played.
I thought it was solid. I have trouble with games that have too many glowing colors because that really, to me, like when there's a bunch of glowing colors on the screen, it's just all one big glowing blob. I have a really hard time distinguishing. stuff when it has that aesthetic.
Ah,
So
yeah.
it was really frustrating for me because I kept like getting hit by stuff, not even seeing it.
and for some odd reason, I'm like a masochist when it comes to just evil platformers that are just like there were parts in Ori that took me a half hour to finish, and just
Yeah.
like one screen of some, I shouldn't say one screen, but like one little section of something. And I don't know why I get so mad at those, but like when I finally do it, it's just like, oh god, like it just, but it's satisfying in a way that I don't, it just does. Those type of games do it for me. And Ori, with the music and the setting and everything, it's a really great game. So I'm looking forward to what a sequel will look like. And that gets us to our last game, Anthem, which is the EA BioWare game, brand new IP that looked above and beyond glorious.
That might be game of the show so far for me. That looked incredible.
Well, it's No the Last Night, but
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
That took me by surprise.
Yeah.
Because I thought that a BioWare game, I figured it was going to be some sort of RPG type
Right.
thing. That
well, I think it probably
it
is.
still might be, but it's something that grabbed me more than Dragon Age, more than Mass Effect, more than KOTOR. Like the way that it's the setting of it, these weird javelin suits.
Yeah, what is going on in that world? There were like there's like giant robot monsters and then also like giant organic monsters and stuff everywhere. It just
Like
And
you
there
went-
was that giant storm at the end.
yeah.
it was the way that you could traverse in the javelin too. Like it was just like, here you're just kind of flying through this weird area and it looked like you could pretty much just land wherever.
Right.
And then you went underwater a little bit, came back up. You had your partner with you who did, and the combat looked crazy as hell. Like with just, the only thing I was missing was it seemed like it was a cakewalk with combat. Like you had these just above and beyond weapons that could take everything
and
out.
at the beginning he actually it was like the two players interacting with each other, and the one was like, oh hey, you got a mortar finally, and then he was like, oh yeah, I got that last weekend. So these are obviously players that have upgraded their suits.
Right. So yeah, it'd just be interesting, I guess, to see. I'd like to see something of like a hard combat of like what it is, like where there's some strife actually, and a lot of players on screen where you can't, where you're a little more overcome with stuff, because it looked like, I was like, oh yeah, you just basically like you stood up there on this cliff, and it was like, here's these 10 guys, I just like aimed at all of them and shot them with one shot, and it took everybody out.
The thing about the mortar explosion I thought was really neat was the crater.
Yeah.
Yeah, the environment interacted with it. It was just, and there was a massive crater left there.
So you're not just dumping this explosion on this flat like surface. The surface is actually edited down once the explosion happens. That's
And the
really
explosion
neat.
itself looked awesome
Oh
too.
yeah. Both of them. The scatter rocket thing that she had too.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So the fact that the landscape changes with explosions, changes with these weird weather effects, even that's gonna make this game very interesting.
the suits kind of reminded me had an Iron Man feel.
Very,
to me.
Mhm.
I think that's the best way. You're talking about the way it travels around, and just kind of like Iron Man.
Yeah, I mean the way that
There's got to be a limitation to it, but it sure looks like it's.
I didn't see like a meter that said like, here's how much gas you got left in this thing or whatever.
That would suck.
Go to Casey's and fill her up in L.A. Casey's in L.A.
Right. The only other thing that they announced that was just a little bit different, Xbox Original.
Well, hang on.
Backwards
You
compatibility.
skipped one game.
What game did I skip?
Tacoma.
Oh, Tacoma. I guess, Tacoma's going to be out in August, I think? August 9th?
Yeah, I think that's what they said.
Was that a timed exclusive as well?
Is that out on PC already?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't know that
That's why I guess I skipped over, because I thought it was out on PC already. It was a quick little, 30-second thing, too. It wasn't really anything.
Yeah, there wasn't much there, but
Mhm.
there might not be a whole lot from that game you can show. Like, if they were going to show Gone Home, you couldn't show much of anything without being a huge spoiler for the game.
True.
So,
But yeah, I guess the only other thing, the original Xbox backwards compatibility. I'll probably never use it for anything.
It's cool, but you're right. Probably never use it.
It's the fact that you should be able to get every game that Microsoft has ever been on an Xbox platform all in the same area.
Well, we'll see what that list looks like.
Yeah,
because the original, the 360 backwards compatibility with the original Xbox had like 40 games on it.
Yeah, it's up pretty high now, though.
Limited.
There's
No. The 360 Xbox backwards compatibility had very few games on it, and it never really got updated.
So it'll be interesting, I guess.
See.
Yeah, I mean, what the publishers decided to do with that, because you're thinking of like first party games. Their big highlight was Crimson Skies, like big whoop, like
right.
I don't know, and
a lot of that stuff that's been out has been remastered. So like Halo, you're not going to go back and play the original Halo. Right?
No, that's been remastered twice.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think it depends if it gives me access. If I'm really feeling like I need to play some Manhunt, which is like, every other day.
Every other day, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But if maybe that's a way for me to easily play it,
we'll
without digging out my old system.
But at the same time, and they haven't said how it works. Like, do you put a disc in? Do you put?
That's a really good question you ask there.
Yeah. Or do you have to buy it digitally?
Yeah, I would be shocked if I put in a classic Xbox disc into an S or an X. Mm-hmm. There it is, S or an X, and
it just played.
Man, I'd be surprised if it does. Then
bravo. But
I'm really curious to see this list and what's on it.
Yeah,
me
too.
And I don't know. I mean, it was kind of a quick blurb. The only game they said was Crimson Skies, so I don't know what it'll end up being, but. Anything else from the Xbox press conference?
I thought it was solid. I thought it was really solid. They had some games on there that I really wasn't interested in, but that's going to happen every time. So
it happens. There's games that are for that you're going to love, games you're not. My biggest disappointment is the lack of games coming out in 2017.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But at the same time, I've said that about Sony in the past, about the lack of games coming out in said year, and then they've turned... This first quarter of the year has been Sony amazing, finally dropping all these games that they've said were coming. So and maybe that's just what we're waiting on with Xbox too. But I don't know. At the same time, I guess I'm looking at Xbox's first party listings there that they just showed, and the only thing I'm really interested in is Crackdown, and I'm mildly interested in Sea of Thieves. Other than that, you're looking at the indie games. And I don't know how many. Cuphead's exclusive, but if this is where I can play third-party games at 4K and then look that good, I'm gonna play them on Xbox.
Yeah.
And if that's what they're going for, that's what they sold me on.
Unless Sony comes out at their press conference and they say, "Here's the PS4 Pro Plus."
I'm not buying another.
I would not put anything in, after the way, and we'll see. But after the way they handled the used game messaging and the renting game messaging, that 1 year, I mean they took the gloves off, and they haven't taken them off since. They've been kicking Microsoft's ass since that moment, dominating them since that moment, and so I wouldn't put anything past them. Like, go do R&D right now and have it out in a year and a half.
Yeah.
It just... Yeah. I would have said that was crazy, but in the way this generation has gone, I wouldn't put anything past Sony.
Here's my thought then for tomorrow, is that what they do is they say, okay, their 4K gaming machine is 500, we'll knock the Pro down to 300.
Yeah, man, maybe.
That's actually probably going to happen. Or at least 350.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like we've seen what Horizon looks like, and holy shit!
Yeah, it looks amazing.
It looks. Yeah. It looks. I think it looks as good as anything we saw today.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much, and I realize that one is stronger than the other, but what are we difference-wise? Are we talking about something that's really similar?
Probably pretty similar. I mean, to the naked eye.
Yeah.
I really want to see when Assassin's Creed comes out, to see it, because that'll be the first, big... Well, maybe even Mordor or Shadow of War.
Yeah.
Well, whatever the first big thing is that's on both, I want to see those side by side.
The third party side by side, yeah. What are the... what's the frame rate, what's the resolution, what are they really running
Because
at?
if you're looking at the specs, the Xbox One X should blow the PS4 out of the water.
Right.
But we'll just have to see how developers handle that.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. They're gonna develop to the Pro, so it
Because they're
runs
the dominant
there,
console.
and the footprint is there.
Mhm.
The same way that I talked about this last time we got together for a regular podcast. The same way developers developed for a PS2 and then ported to an Xbox.
Well, and it was also the same with, if you go the opposite route, then they and the last generation that everybody built to 360 specs, even though the PS3 could go higher. They built to the lowest level of the lowest common denominator, I guess is what I'm saying, and that's where it is. I mean, for third party, I mean, so for them to have to put extra work into, you don't know what that market's going to be yet. It's not going to be there for a while.
They need Microsoft needs a Gears of War.
Yeah.
Like they need a system mover.
Halo will be
in
next
order-
year, presumably.
Yeah, but not Halo. Like they need something. They need something new like that. And I say
Oh, I
Gears
see
of
what you
War
mean.
because when the 360 launched,
But you're saying not Gears of War, but something like Gears of War.
or if we rewind time and we remember where the 360 was at, the PS3 is not out, and so the 360 comes out, and Perfect Dark Zero is really the only thing that anybody's really excited about. It has a bit of a mediocre summer, but then that fall, Gears of War came out, and everybody's like, if you haven't played this, you're freaking high. You need this game, and you need the system too. You're gonna take the system because you need the system to play it, and you have to play this.
Maybe that'll be Crackdown. Who knows?
Yeah, I think it has to be something
You think brand new?
brand new. Yeah, I think it has to be brand new, and I think it has to move the Xbox S. Or sorry, let's see, I did it. The
X.
Xbox One X. I think it has to move that system. Or next year, it has to move that system for them. Otherwise, if the games are all things being equal and they've got really good exclusives on one and the other, all things being equal, I don't see how Microsoft takes back the mantle without something like that.
I'm actually surprised they didn't spend any time talking about entertainment potential with that either. Of like, and maybe it's just because it's not there, of, hey, we're going to be the first people to have Netflix in 4K, that we're going to have all of these things, because I believe as of right now, the S is the only thing that does Netflix and Amazon Prime in 4K. I don't think the PS4 Pro does. There are some streaming boxes that do it in 4K, but I don't think the Pro does. So I'm surprised they didn't take that strategy with some of that as well to try to get that out there, unless it's really not there. Because I mean, you look at what content is available in 4K, it's very few. Some of the original, there's a couple Amazon originals and a couple Netflix originals that are in 4K, but nothing like Narcos is in 4K, I think, on Netflix, but I don't know if anything else is. Maybe
I think they're as of like a year and a half ago, every new original they make
it's going to be in 4K.
Is always 4K, yeah.
Yeah, House of Cards, I think, was going to be in 4K. Man in the High Castle. So some of those are going to be in 4K, but it just is. It's something that I thought that they would try to get that group excited about as well. It's something that would get posted in USA Today. It's something that would grab a couple more headlines when you're browsing the web the next day.
Yeah, I think
For the mass public.
We know what these Phil Spencer-led press conferences are like now, and to his credit, like he's speaking to us.
Right.
He realizes that we block out time to watch this live every year, no matter whether it's on a Monday or a Sunday. Microsoft, but even like today on Sunday, like
I enjoy taking my Monday off of E3.
Right.
And
you take time off work for it. Like we have the disposable income to we're of the age to buy that stuff. Time, maybe not something, but at least wise, like we're the person he's talking to.
Paid time off, I guess, is what I'm saying. Like to take a half a day to watch Xbox Ubi all in the same afternoon.
So I will give them credit for being like, we are a video game box first, and the days of us demoing Kinect for an hour and all these entertainment hooks, that's it. It's over. When we realized that wasn't the best strategy, here are, God, I mean, like 30 games That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much negativity on the internet. I just want to say there's a lot of stuff to be excited about from that press conference, and that's going to be the way that I end.
Yeah.
Because I want to end this on a positive note, unlike seemingly everyone else.
Yeah, I'm generally excited about everything I saw.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even stuff that I won't play, I'm excited to hear about it.
Yeah, I'm with you as well.
And regardless of platform, hopefully the exclusives are great on both. You
Yeah.
know, and hopefully to like we were saying, I hope that the experience on the Pro and the X are mostly the same for the people that invest in one or the other. I was just kind of trying to understand, if you do decide to spend the extra money, why, what do you get out of that, and what's the proposal from Microsoft to the consumer on why you should spend a little bit extra. And right now it seems like it's not the games. So
yeah,
I guess like maybe a reward for early adopters is something that I would suggest, or try to, but maybe they'll have enough loyal customers like me that'll go out and just grab it anyway.
I think that's why they took the time to say, here's all these old games that are going to get upscaled to 4K.
Yeah, and they did take the super sampling thing is interesting too.
Yeah, that was something I think that they had to say, because they don't have a huge lineup this fall.
And nobody getting left behind is still a really good message from them. They've continued to be like, you're good. Everybody's good. If you want this beefy machine, by all means. If not, you're still good.
Yep. All right. Well, that was the 2017 Xbox One press conference. Stay tuned tomorrow night.
When's Sony tomorrow?
Tomorrow night is at 8 o'clock for
Central Standard Time.
So for us in LA, it's 6.
Oh, yes.
Right. And
right.
So 6 p.m.
You guys want to
there.
get dinner before? Sure.
Yeah, there'll be enough time between Ubi and that for us to go. Maybe,
and we've got a day full of meetings tomorrow.
There's a taco truck that's in between between Staples and the Kodak Theater.
What's
we'll
it called,
fine.
Logan?
Right.
What's that taco truck called?
Mel's Tacos.
Mel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
Mel.
you know, the funny thing is the guy grew out his beard to look exactly like Mel Gibson, but
okay.
at the same time it might be Mel Gibson. I don't know what he's doing these days, but he makes a hell of a taco. So we're gonna check out Mel's Tacos tomorrow, and we will be back tomorrow night. You'll see some Ubi and Sony reactions. So we get some Mel's.